All right, where are we first? We are here. Here's the 360. It's at the corner of Manchester and something or other. I'll get a video later. And here it is. This is where you used to park, Josh, on your little weirdo adventure. You probably remember this a little bit. I don't know how you're gonna remember this in the future. This is what everything looked like. It's a little weird in the dark because usually when you used to come here 3 years ago, it would be way before 5 o'clock because you're trying to get that first Frozen show. So yeah, and you would always try to match the sign up. Okay, maybe a little explanation is needed. Maybe you're wondering, Josh, why are you walking to Disneyland from this weird street that's about a mile or two away? Well, wow, I'm so dark. Well, it is because this is what you used to do before you worked for Disney. When you had your annual pass, if you remember that, you didn't want to pay for parking. All right, so the streets are Manchester and South Street in Anaheim. This house never used to be here. This used to be like a little house, kind of like what's next door, but they demolished it and rebuilt it. It was a nice one. It's kind of weird. And you can't see them now, but in the summer, there used to be so many cockroaches running back and forth along this path. I guess they just hid in the bushes. It was a little weird. Alrighty. Just walking down at Manchester. Manchester turns into downtown Disney, or Disneyland Drive, I think, or something like that. So, why am I doing this and why am I videotaping? Well, you used to do this all the time, Josh, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of do it once more and videotape it for posterior reasons. Posterior reasons? I think it's called that. We have about a 20-minute, 25-minute walk, so we do have time to talk about some things. Showing you a little bit of the path. Okay, let's rewind for a bit. So, I used to do this all the time because I was an annual pass holder, like I said. Actually, Joelle, a close friend of mine, showed me this neighborhood that you can park in that had no permits, that didn't really have any rules against parking there. And that was generally the closest parking spot that you can find around Disneyland. And I was intrigued because I'm always trying to save money, and let's see, 3 years ago would be 2016, yes. I don't really expect anyone to see this video. This is kind of for myself. So I'm gonna take my sweet time explaining why I'm doing this really ridiculous thing right now. Back in 2016, I was kind of sad, and I guess you can say a little depressed, because it was kind of a change in my life. There was some weirdness happening with the close group of friends that I had, and for some reason or another I had to kind of create some distance between them. So a lot of my free time opened up, and this is the summer that I went to Sequoia, I believe, Sequoia National Park, and then I came back, and that was great, but I kind of needed something to do. At that time I was working for Barnes & Noble, and I don't know if I was working for Last Parking yet. Maybe I was. So I was doing both of them, and I just had no life, basically. So I had to figure out what to do, and then Marco, you know, I occasionally meet with him and hang out with him. Marco had this idea that he was gonna go to Disneyland, and he's like, why don't you get a pass? And I said, wow, I haven't had an annual pass. Actually, the only time I had an annual pass was the first time I came to California in 2010 when I went to Biola as a freshman, a transfer junior, technically freshman. As you can see, it's got a little lighter here. That's the on-ramp or off-ramp, I don't know, on-ramp from the 5. Kind of getting more busy here as I'm entering the Disney area. There's the 888 building I always pass, and then officially the signs for Disney start popping up. So you know you're getting close. Here's what that looked like. There's the on-ramp. All right, back to the history lesson if you can actually hear me. I'll try to talk when there's no traffic. But anyway, so yeah, Marco said you should get a pass for Disneyland. And him and Perla, his sister, were thinking of going in at the end of summer or the start of summer. I don't know, Labor Day. I think it was Labor Day. So the unofficial end of summer, they're going. And so I took the ticket. My family loves Disney, and whenever they visit, I think they visited that summer. I took the ticket from Disney, and then extended it to an annual pass. So that's how I got it. But I didn't get the deluxe parking that I did in 2010. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm rambling. I'm so sorry, Josh. But basically, if you can remember in 2010 when you first got, I totally didn't continue that story. When you first got the Disneyland, oh look, a snail. Oh, you run into these guys too. Walking down. Here's that weird Logos Missions Inc. building that you always pass. Kind of nice. I think it sounds like it's Missions, so it's kind of cool. And then you have walking to Super 8, and then that weird, the Majestic Garden Hotel off to your left. Okay, I am rambling so much. All right, to make a long story short, basically the first time I got an AP pass in 2010, I barely used it. I used it like 3 times. I was so kind of just doing college and college friends, and you know, it took basically all my time, and I didn't really feel like going to Disneyland alone. And so I kind of wasted that pass a whole year, and I only went 3 times. Once I remember I went in to buy a Christmas ornament, and that was it. It was kind of weird. So I never got a pass since then, until the 2016 when I was kind of depressed, so I needed something to do. My gosh, this car totally watched me. I feel like that car too. Oh, everyone's watching me now. Getting kind of close. Starting to pass all these motels now. Traffic from Disney starting to pile up, so you know you're getting closer and closer. So anyway, you didn't want to pay for $25 parking every time you visited the parks because you didn't pay for the extended parking option. So Joel helped you out, and you went with him the first couple times, I think. I don't remember. Marco has a pass, so anytime you go with him, or you used to go with him, he used to just help you park there. But you used to walk this distance all the time. And coming up on some people, so I'm gonna put the phone away so I don't look like a serial killer. Alright, crossing the street here at Ball and Disneyland Drive. I was right. So it turns into Disneyland Drive. Behind me is a very important place, Arco. This is the gas station on the corner that you used to go to get a drink or something refreshing before you go into the park. And you used to do it all the time. It's so weird. How things change. And this would be very exciting when I actually cross the street this way. This is the official Disney property line. So this is when I knew I was getting close. Now I gotta walk down that way. It's actually the backside of what now is going to be Star Wars Land. And this would be the most awkward part because you're walking down the sidewalk and all the cars kind of look at you because no one really walks down the sidewalk. But that's fine, that's okay. There's Disney trees and fence right over there. And you can kind of see the big buildings of Star Wars Land. That all did not used to be there. It was all just backlots. So I think I told you the history of why I did this. Basically did this all the time. Between, gosh, fall into that Christmas. I think I did like at least once or maybe twice a week. I didn't really do it in 2017, I think, but I'm pretty sure it kind of dwindled down. Once you go to Disneyland for like 6 straight months, you kind of get used to a lot of things. I remember, I'll kind of show you what I used to do, sort of. I don't know how long I want this video to be, but basically, wow, things have definitely changed. I'm just looking up here. You can't really see it in the video, but there's a fake mountain right there, fake rocks right there, giant buildings all across this fence area. None of this was here. This is all like open lot. And that's what I was used to 2 years ago. Wow, look, another huge fake column, another huge fake column. Oh boy. Star Wars Land is going to be opening in about a month. So we have a month, wait, a month? No, 2 months left at the end of May. Right now it's April 2nd, so wow. Yeah, 2 more months, almost exactly. Okay, as we're walking along, we quickly stumble upon the entrance of the gigantic Disneyland Resort parking structure, which is called Mickey and Friends. And it used to be the single biggest parking structure in the world. I think some other titles have taken it by now. Well, not titles, but other parking structures have taken the title. So, continue walking. We're gonna go over this bridge right here. Okay, you're over the bridge now. Looking down. Countdown is on. We are on top of the bridge right now. There is the corner of the parking garage. And then there's the entrance to Star Wars Land. I know this will never happen, but if I ever get photo pass at Star Wars Land, I probably will park there and then just go into work right there, so who knows. There's the tram. These are where the trams come and go to the parking lot. Still walking. Wow, I don't know if you can see this, but this entire structure was not here very recently. I think they're extending the parking structure, which is absolutely mind-boggling, probably for Star Wars Land. Holy cow, that is huge. Just keep on walking, man, keep on walking. This is the official Downtown Disney parking lot back there. I know they have another one over there, but everyone wants to park in this one because it's just more convenient. Wow, I'm still astonished by that giant, you can't really see it at all, but it's huge. It's like another 1/3 of the parking structure. All right, to kind of wrap up my little history lesson, I did that for about 6 months. I did this for about 6 months. And then I kind of just got bored. I think some of my old friends, we mended a few things and then just did other things in California, you know. Yeah. And then 6 months later, I was hired by Disney and actually, no, I'm sorry. I let my pass expire, and that was a sad day. I went a few more times right at the end of my pass expiring. And then a couple months later, I was hired onto Disney late that summer, late 2017, I think. Yeah. So late summer 2017, or in the middle of summer, I don't know. I think it was the middle of summer, like July or something. But anyway, then I didn't need to do this anymore because we have a cash designated parking lot. We actually have 2. So yeah. So I basically stopped doing this for like 2 years. Sometimes, just to remember what I used to do all the time, I sometimes make this walk. There was a couple changes that actually make this a little more difficult. It was actually pretty easy. I'll show you. Usually this would be just a straight shot, you know, back there, just a straight shot to the car. And then usually, if you can see, oh, I have to go closer. All right, so here we are. We have arrived at the weird part. So back in the day, like I said, walk down this sidewalk, and then in the early stages, you would actually just make a right onto this weird sidewalk that goes seemingly into the dark, but that actually goes right to downtown Disney. It was kind of like a shortcut, and it was open to everyone. But now, they built a fence there. I don't know if you can see the fence. For security reasons. Not everyone that can wants to visit downtown Disney can just walk on through anymore. So kind of that building with the yellow neon is the Lego store, and that's actually on downtown Disney property. It was such a shock when they did this, because basically what turned into like a 20-minute walk from your car that I used to do suddenly became kind of a headache, like a 30-minute walk. And after they did this, honestly, I think that was the beginning of the end of me walking this. What I have to do now, and what I did for like maybe a month or something, was instead of going there, I just went straight, and then you have to go under the bridge, you have to go into the hotels, and then back around onto downtown Disney, and then across the bridge to go to the parks. And that was a bit of a headache, you know, kind of going under the bridge, going through the hotels. I mean, my time at Disney, like enjoying it alone, was kind of waning in and of itself, you know, for reasons I'll talk about later. But, you know, sometimes I would just go to the hotels and just hang out there until I was satisfied, and then I would walk back to my car. It was kind of getting sad. This is kind of the start of downtown Disney from the side. In the old days, this all used to be covered in like giant vines and bushes and stuff, and it was just like a forest. Now they cleaned it up a bit. I think they used to do that because they were scared people were going to actually climb up and into downtown Disney for some reason. It was like a security thing, but I think they just thought no one in their right mind would ever do that. And here's the bridge you walk under. There's the monorail over there. And the bridge, I've always liked the underneath part of it, because it had all these like crisscross beams and stuff. And that was kind of cool. And always a little worried because there's actually cameras hidden under the bridge. Probably for security reasons, but it's cool. And then on the other side is going to be the Californian Hotel. So this is another thing that I tried for like a little bit. I think I just did it twice, but basically downtown Disney is behind me now, and we're passing the Californian. But basically, there's an entrance to the Californian that's open only to cars. And if I really didn't want to do this whole like crossing the street, going around the hotel, and then around the Lego store, and then back on the street, I would basically just cut right through the Californian. And once you get into the Californian, you basically can get into California Adventure super fast, super quick. In fact, that was the quickest way to get into the parks. Basically, you take that shortcut basically into downtown Disney, and then the entrance to the hotel would be right across from that. And you could actually get into California Adventure. It's the back way to get in for the hotel guests. And basically, what I'm trying to say is, from car to getting into one of the Disney parks was literally 30 minutes tops. And that's almost equal to paying $25 for parking and taking the tram and waiting in line. And it was just so much more convenient. Here's the entrance, by the way, that I did 2 times. You're not supposed to. I always got scared that you got yelled at, but sometimes you do it. I wonder if I should do it now. Nah. The reason why I went over there instead of the official opening there is they actually check people's tickets over there. It's like a guardhouse. So there, back in the day, just 2 years ago, there was like little tiny cracks in the system that you can exploit to get into the parks, I guess, that they've fixed, apparently. And there's only just a couple ways. But then again, I got hired for Disney, so I don't need to do this anymore. All right, coming up on the Grand Californian and the Paradise Pier hotel entrance. Paradise Pier, of course, is the big one to my right. The Californian is the humble one, hidden in the trees. to the left. Always preferred the Californian myself. Oh, poop. I'm gonna have to wait. So now we're gonna have to go against logic and go right to go left, because we need to go to those purple big buildings and then we need to cross. So wearing the hat. So basically we're here at the entrance to the hotel. What I used to do is actually go through the hotel, but because they never used to have these security guards here. Actually, you could go into downtown Disney without having your bag checked 2 years ago, but they decided to make the whole property area secure, which is smart. I mean, if you don't want any shenanigans happening in your property, you know. So they decided to set the security guards way back here, but it was all open about 2 years ago. Okay, I'm gonna go through security real quick. Downtown Disney. They tried to make the best out of it because they closed this entire side down. They reopened Earl of Sandwich because they had the stuff inside already. But movie theater's closed, ESPN's closed, so all these food trucks are here to make it more lively. Of course, they still have their band. But the most depressing thing is Rainforest Cafe is closed, which really, really sucks. And here's the Lego Star with the yellow roof. Finally here. Downtown Disney. Another thing I forgot to mention was because they put that new security system, I guess, into place surrounding downtown Disney, it kind of put like a damper on downtown Disney. So you sometimes didn't want to go to the parks, you just kind of wanted to hang around downtown Disney, which I did sometimes. But sometimes, yeah, the extra wall kind of, I don't know, made it weird. So sometimes it took a long time, sometimes there was a line, so. But yeah, downtown Disney. So, since 2 years ago, there has been a lot of changes to downtown Disney. First of all, Splitsville used to be, what was it? House of Blues, and this used to be Build-A-Bear back here, and this used to be some kind of car making something, but this is all going to be like restaurants and bars, because I guess Disney found out that that's where the money is. So there's Ballast Point up there, which no one really likes, but brewery and kitchen makes money though. And of course everything's pretty much the same on that side. There's like a virtual reality thing over there. There's a Sprinkles now over here, which is new. There's some vomit right there being cleaned up. And what else? There's I think the Sephora was there a while, but the dress shop used to be specifically Frozen, I think. Kind of over there. And the kind of the weirdest change, I think, was the Haagen-Dazs right over here. Used to be, it's now Salt and Straw, which is also a ice cream place, but it used to be Haagen-Dazs, which was nice. I like Haagen-Dazs. I don't know what this whole hipster place is. So just kind of letting you guys know, that used to be where you would come into downtown Disney from that secret sidewalk I showed you. So right between Wetzel's Pretzels, they kind of updated it. And what used to be Haagen-Dazs is now Salt and Straw. And basically it would be very easy to get in the park. You would just kind of walk across this area, all the way across, until that little tunnel right there that goes into the hotel. and then you would, from the hotel, go into the park. That would take about 5 minutes. But now, you would have to do that loop-de-loop thing that I do, and then go on the property, and then continue going all across this area. So it's a little bit more of a headache. I think that's why I stopped doing it. A lot of factors kind of played into why I stopped doing it.
Scary mask.
Sorry, as you might suspect, things are getting a little bit more crowded here. So more people are looking at me like, why are you talking to your phone? I'm definitely going into the midst of the crowds here, so. Okay, we're not even going to talk about World of Disney. We're just not going to talk about it. That's a very sensitive subject. I hate how they redid it, so we're not even going to talk about it. But I used to spend hours in there, and now I would be lucky to spend a couple minutes in there. So, kind of shows you how much things have changed. All right, after all that time, we are actually here at Disneyland, and I decided to come to this part first, unlike traditionally, where I used to go to California Adventure all the time, because they close earlier. It's because it's actually so late, and I want to catch the fireworks at 9:30, so hopefully I'll get there on time.
In just a few minutes, the lights will be dim, so you can fully experience the music and special features of Mickey's Mix Magic. For your safety and for the safety of those around you, please remain in the same area until the lights return to normal. Thank you for understanding, and please enjoy the show.
All right, I don't know if you heard, but basically, the fireworks are going to be canceled because of high winds, and that's kind of the point of why I wanted to go to Disneyland first. I have about 30 minutes before Disneyland California closes. I think I'll head over there. I don't know what I'm going to be riding. I'll decide that when I get in, I guess. But I've seen the show many times at Disneyland. I've just never seen it with the fireworks. They do have another show without the fireworks, and it's okay. It's okay, but, you know, I don't really want to see it again. So here I am at Disney's California Adventure. So, just one or two things about Disney's California Adventure. This is my home theme park. So I specifically was here for about a year, and then I moved on to PhotoPass, and then we did kind of both parks. But I always have a special place in my heart for Disney's California Adventure, just because most of my friends are here, and I don't know, I know the layout better, and they seem more chill over here because it's not Disneyland. You know, it's not as crowded, crazy, or squeezed in. It's better designed and better managed, so that's kind of why I prefer it a lot for my shifts. But it's also, you know, a good place to kind of come and chill. Kind of like it, yeah. It's nice. Nice to come back and reminisce. Okay, so I'm at the other side of Pixar Pier, Paradise Pier, and Silly Symphony Swings is well, it's being redone, I guess. I don't know. Looks boarded up. No one looks like it's working there, so it's really weird. Actually, everything on this side looks a little different. There's walls all up. I mean, of course they're going to build a new ride right here. So that's going to be interesting. Before it was literally just a wall. That's what I remember it as. Roller coaster kind of going around. So yeah, that's different. Well, this is a weird sight. Oh.
Did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing it again.
So that was a little bit of, I want to say Fantasmic, but that's not true at all. That was a little bit of World of Color. And yeah, good show. But I didn't ride any rides yet. What I wanted to talk about was the rides that I did ride when I came in to the parks 3 years ago. I would usually, at first, when I started doing this, I would ride everything. But then I started getting a little bored and just hitting the major rides. So I would basically start off at California Adventure. This might sound funny, but Josh, you used to love Frozen, so the performances, so because you kind of like theater, so you would watch at least the 5 o'clock showing of Frozen, maybe even earlier. You would start this whole process pretty early, not as late as now. You would end it at midnight, but you wouldn't start it this late. You would start at I think one of the performances was at 5, and you try to get that 5 o'clock performance. So anyway, so you would start at California Adventure, get that, and then you would pretty much ride the roller coaster as many times as you can. They have a single rider line, so it usually went fast. And then you would go to Silly Symphony Swings, which is actually pretty funny because, you know, for known reasons. And you didn't know a year later you would actually be part of that family. And then you would head over to Disneyland, and you pretty much ended the night with whatchamacallit. Why am I forgetting everything tonight? It's so weird. You would end the night with Space Mountain, and you would do a bunch of things before then. So just trying to beat the crowd right now that's watching World of Color. Sorry that's a little bit loud. But yeah, this is what I'm seeing right now. This is the Food and Wine Festival time here at California Adventure. And of course, 1 year ago, you were doing this exact same thing. You were getting a lot of walks, World of Colors. You were getting a lot of parades because the pier was down, so you couldn't do anything over on that side. So you did a lot of crowd control, and a lot of AP corners. But you actually liked that. That was actually some of your best times. So it's funny how things work out. And PhotoPass you actually like even more because you get to move around and you don't get stuck a lot. I'm here at Buena Vista Street. It's funny, I used to see this all the time at PhotoPass, but now I don't really see it that much. I'm pretty much like a Main Street guy now. I really hope that changes. It's getting a little old, Main Street, but you never know. Central's actually my favorite, so sometimes they merge it. You know what I'm talking about, Josh. Future Josh. So I'm walking down Buena Vista Boulevard now. Gonna exit the park. Maybe I'll go to Disneyland, maybe not. I really don't know how I'm feeling. So this has been a weird tour of what I used to do. Sometimes I actually get tired early and I go home. I actually walk all the way back to my car, down that sidewalk for 20 minutes. Because, sometimes you don't really feel like spending time at Disney alone, Sometimes you want to ride the rides, but sometimes you don't. And riding a ride, waiting 40 minutes for a non-single rider ride is kind of lame. So you just used to hit all the single rider rides and then go home. But sometimes if it's a busy day or if you're just not feeling it, or most of the time you just get hungry, honestly, and you just go home. Oops, there's a lot of families right here. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. I'm walking out of the park right now. I don't know if I want to go into Disneyland or not. It's like one of those things. I'm actually really hungry, so I might have a sandwich at Earl of Sandwich, but it all depends if they're open. If they're open, I might head over there. If they're closed, I might head to Disneyland. I'm gonna check that really quick right now. All right, so I just checked the time, and Earl of Sandwich is going to be closing in 30 minutes, so that is my cue, ladies and gentlemen, to exit the park. And sometimes, I feel this way. Sometimes I go all the way to Disneyland and I don't feel like going inside. That's just one of my weird quirks, I guess. But what can I tell you? If you do something because you're not sure of what to do, like a lot of the times I would travel all the way to Anaheim from Huntington Beach because I didn't know what to do, honestly. Sometimes you're depressed or whatever and you're not sure what to do, but then you arrive at the place you think you want to do and then you don't want to do it. It's no one's fault. It's just the way life works. And I found the best things to do in that situation is not to kind of force yourself. I've been there where I was like, I came all the way here. I should do what I came to do. I should ride the rides at Disneyland. And then it eventually it just became weird. I'm passing La Brea Bakery going into Disney, downtown Disney right now. But yeah, it's like if I tend to force things, I don't have fun. But if I go with the flow, I tend to have more fun, if that makes any sense. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go all the way to Earl of Sandwich and eat a sandwich. And suddenly I'm very tired for some reason. And suddenly I'm very anxious to kind of get home and do something progressive. I don't know. It's one of those weird things, so hopefully I'm doing the right thing. I guess this is the end of the video. Hopefully I'll show you what I used to do in the daytime so you can kind of see it. Oh, there's light now. I can show you what I used to do in the daytime, maybe with more detail, but I don't know. This is kind of what I used to do in the nighttime. Things have changed, so I stopped doing that. Work here now, so definitely don't do it as much as I used to. I do it mostly for reminiscing purposes, but things have changed. Like World of Color has changed, so I don't really spend like an hour or two there anymore. Sometimes I used to go to the Californian and just kind of reminisce, but I don't know, for some reason I don't do that anymore. The thing with life and living it is you change. Everyone changes, you know, and that's not a bad thing. It's just you need to find some new things to like, to do. Reminiscing is a weird category because it's like, remember when I used to do this? But I feel that can really only be done when you're away from it all for a while. Like, I can go back to Disney World in Florida and reminisce, but I don't know if I can reminisce here so much because I work here. So it's weird. But I can definitely reminisce about the part where I used to travel and I don't do anymore. I am rambling. I am so sorry. Anywho, this has been an interesting journey. I'm gonna go eat my sandwich. I'm gonna go home. I'm sorry I didn't go to Disneyland. I'd actually have an hour and a half left to do things. I just don't feel like doing them, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'll do it in a video or something, a future video. So today's April 2nd, 2019. Maybe there's like a video in the future where I feel like doing something similar. At least I got the basics down. You know, where I used to park, what I used to do before before I was tired. So thank you for watching, Josh. Hopefully this has been a good memory for you wherever you are right now in life. And I don't know how long YouTube's gonna last, but maybe someone will see this video and I don't know, have a good ride as well. Sprinkles! You don't know how long I've waited for sprinkles to pop up around here, and it's here. It's pretty cool. All right, this is Josh signing out. Oh, Earl of Sandwich. I really wish you were in other parts of California. This is the only place that's convenient. This is gold tinfoil. Ah. The perfect sandwich.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Monorail. For your safety, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. Watch your children, and no smoking, please. To the left of the monorail is the main entrance of Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Disneyland is truly an American tradition. Since its opening in 1955, Finding Nemo's submarine voyage. Across the way are the icy peaks of Matterhorn Mountain, home of the world's most famous bobsled run. And beneath us is the Autopia, where drivers of all ages can travel the road to tomorrow. As we cruise over Tomorrowland's happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland. Home to the